A new season of TC America powered by Skip Barber got started yesterday with Braden Arthur and JMF Motorsports drawing first blood in the first race of the season. Today, the year resumes at Northern California's Sonoma Raceway with another 35-minute sprint in picturesque conditions. Hello, alongside Calvin Fish and Amanda Busick. My name is Ryan Marine. It's a pleasure to have your company on a gorgeous morning here in Northern California wine country. Sonoma Raceway, where yesterday, Calvin, in similarly idyllic conditions, Braden Arthur announced his arrival in this championship in a meaningful way. Started on pole, pulled away, and never really felt too much pressure over the course of 35 minutes.
Yeah, he managed it really well. That JMF squad have certainly got off to a strong start here in 2026. Finishing off last year with 5 wins on the bounce with Jonathan Newdorf. So the pace is there in that Toyota. Castro did a great job qualifying second. Had a poor first lap or two. Then he got into his rhythm, caught up Braden Arthur, but I always felt that Braden kind of had it under control. So let's see how the teams tweaked on the cars last night and if we see a different dynamic here at the start of the race today.
As mentioned, there will be 3 of us on the show. You've heard from Calvin. Let's hear from the third member of the team. That's Amanda Busick down in the pits.
Hey guys, yeah, and I see all 11 race cars back for race number 2 here at Sonoma Raceway. I saw John Fergus after the race yesterday, and he threw his hands up in celebration because it was green to checkered flag racing down here for this class, and that's something that he is super proud of with these guys. I want to go back to some of the results we saw yesterday. One of the cars that I just walked between, Dean Lambros, will start on that second row. That's from those fastest lap times as he was awarded the hard charger of the race yesterday. You see Justin Gravitt looking for his another podium in a row here, but a lot of battles are going to come down to this front row right here. We saw them yesterday. Andre Castro trying to make a play at Braden Arthur, who will start in that second spot. So we know that Andre does have the speed in that Hyundai. He told me that he gets to control his destiny today as we get race number 2 started at Sonoma Raceway.
It's a great point because although it was Braden Arthur that got the win, it was Andre Castro with the fastest lap of the race in race number 1, and so instead of the Toyota starting out front and dictating the tempo of the race, now the roles are reversed, and Andre gets the chance to start on pole position.
He does, and that fast lap was by a solid couple of tenths, so the pace is certainly there. I think that the Toyota may come to life a little bit quicker with that all-wheel drive system on that car, so that's going to be the key. I think Andre really needs to get the launch at the start, hold the lead up through that first half lap, get into his rhythm before Braden really pounces. That could be the key to victory today.
Let's talk about this track. Opened in 1968, the first race ever held here, December 1st of 68. 12 corners, 2.5 miles around, but crucially, it's the elevation change that sets this place apart.
It really is, and most of the elevation change occurs 160 feet throughout that first lap. So you climb the hill up through turn 1, then it starts to get really dicey. The crest that you see through turn 2, through 3A, and certainly into the carousel, which is turn 6 there in the middle of the track map, as you can see. But track gives you a lot of grip. There's some patching that's been done since last season, so some of the drivers like to stay off that. Some people feel they can run the theoretically ideal line around this racetrack. So finding the grip through this turn 11 kind of hairpin, you'll see the drivers really want to get that right front planted on that where the rubber is built up, and that gives you a little bit more grip to hook it through that corner.
Is this as technically challenging as any place we go?
I think so. It's a fun track to drive, but you want to get those laps. You need those reps to really know where you need the car position before you can commit coming up over the top of the crests.
We talked about the front row. Amanda teased one of the great stories from yesterday from the back of the pack. Dean Lambros, 11th to 6th, and set the third fastest race lap in the process. He'll actually have some track position here today. What can he do from the second row?
Well, I think he's looking good for another podium, based on they had that viral in the weekend, so they're on the back foot. So he's got a bit of pace, but he's got to find something to really challenge that top 2 today.
Just moments away from firing these cars up, so another chance to head down to the grid and check in once more with Amanda.
That second JMF Toyota Corolla on track today, also driven by Jesse Dorkin that we saw in the race yesterday. I was talking to Danny Koch about him this morning, and John Farrow gave him the liberty to go find someone for this ride, and it was Jesse, 18-year-old from Colorado. This is just his second race in a race car. He comes from the karting background, but Danny was telling me that he's just so mature, very considerate. That JMF way is what he really liked, but one of the things that I love love, we go back to Braden Arthur, who will start this race from row number 1. He's been really in the ear of Jesse Dorkin, helping him along on this process. And Danny loves that kind of energy within the team at JMF.
The team over the years has been so good at identifying talent, bringing them up through their system, giving them opportunities to showcase what they can do behind the wheel, and Jesse is following very much in that path.
Yeah, I think he certainly looks like a great young talent, and Danny saw a lot that he liked. Danny Koga's the team manager there at JMF, so with the support of John Farrow, so they give these young drivers the opportunity. He's got a great benchmark there, and Braden Arthur has a ton of experience even at the GT4 level. So as a teammate, you're going to give that youngster a lot of help, but I relate it to maybe the Mercedes Formula One squad at the moment. Suddenly Kimi Antonelli, 2 poles in a row. How much help has George Russell given him these days? So whilst he's back there a little bit deeper in the grid, I'm sure Braden will give him every ounce of information, but when it gets a little bit closer, maybe things will change just a little bit.
It's a great mix of experience and youth in this field. Great mix of cars as well, with different platforms, front-wheel drive, four-wheel drive, rear-wheel drive, you name it. It's on display. As we look at the starting grid, pole to Andre Castro, just his 4th start in the series, and he has the Ricca Autosport car starting in the best spot. He'll have Braden Arthur, winner yesterday, alongside. Then it's Dean Lambros from 11th to 6th in race 1, starts 3rd today. Then Justin Gravitt, who's been on the podium at all 3 of his previous starts. Eric Koons lines up in the 5th position, his teammate and 2-time Grid Life champion Matan Rosenberg alongside. Then Mike Lamara and Logan Anderson sharing row number 4. We talked a bit about Jesse Dorkin. There he is, starting in the 5th row next to the Canadian Shelby Mills. And Robert Bellevue for DRS, debuting the new BMW M2. Starts out back in the 11th spot. Robert with extensive vintage racing experience. That's the field. Expect to see a few more cars as the year progresses. We heard from Jeff Ricca, reigning champion in the series, but of course also runs the Ricca Autosport team. And he teased us a little bit at the end of the race, or during the race yesterday, talking about some additional cars he might be bringing, and hope to see some more join as the year progresses.
Yeah, he's talking 6-7 cars at some of the events this year, so that's outstanding for that group. Really run a great customer racing program there. Certainly that new BMW, great to see on the grid. I think as the supply chain opens up a little bit on that machine, we should see more entries there. So certainly exciting times ahead, but we've got a really solid grid here for race 2 of the championship year.
Just the 1 formation lap, so we're getting close to the green flag, and here to wave it, the VP of Cielo Vision, Jonathan Safi, and welcome to Sonoma Raceway, and enjoy the view from high above the start-finish straight, such as it is. There aren't many straightaways here at Sonoma Raceway, but it is an incredible technical challenge, as we've chronicled, and that's about to be on full display as the field heads down to turn 11, the hairpin turn, slowest turn on the racetrack. Then it's just the left-hander at turn 12 that leads to the start line in the beginning of race 2 of the season for TC America, powered by Skip Barber. It is Andre Castro on pole in the Hyundai alongside Braden Arthur. Winner yesterday, green flag waves, they're off and running. Rowering through turn 1 and heading up the hill. Good job, though, by the pole sitter. Castro able to hang on to his advantage, but Arthur is looking threatening here, side by side for 3rd place further back.
Yeah, it's difficult to pass, though, so as long as Castro hits his marks, it may be tough for Braden Arthur to make a move, but maybe into the brake zone for turn 4. Could be the first opportunity. That's coming up here in just a few seconds.
Just a moment ago, a glimpse of Eric Koons picking up the 4th position, able to get around his teammate Gravitt, who's been shuffled back to the 5th spot. Shelby Mills, what a charge from 10th on the grid. He's up several positions here through the first couple of corners.
Yeah, he's made an awesome start there, Shelby Mills has, but look at this. We've got 3 different manufacturers holding down the top 3 spots right now. Castro from the pole. So important for him to get that track position early. Let Braden Arthur get to him, and he slips a little bit. This gives Lambros a bit of a run.
Lambros, this is as close to the front as he's been. Had to start out back yesterday because of a fire early in the weekend. Couldn't get that car ready in time for qualifying. Got a big assist from the Precision Racing LA team. Helped to install a new wiring harness in this car to get it ready for the race, and he rewarded the Skip Barber Racing team with a charge up to 6th from the back of the pack. He starts 3rd today and looks threatening in his battle with yesterday's winner, Braden Arthur, who now has scooted off a little bit and is starting to pressure Castro. Meanwhile, Eric Coons has his hands full. He got that position earlier in the lap, but Garrett's not going to give it away lightly.
No, Coons suddenly had to go on the defense there into that brake zone for turn 9. It looked like he had an opportunity in turn 7. Lambros left the door open. He's got to watch that. But up front, Castro continues to hold station there at the front. Let's see if Braden Arthur can get into his rhythm here. It seemed like he had a little bit of understeer coming through that long duration carousel turn in the middle of the lap, and that is allowing Lambros to really put the pressure on that Toyota. So different dynamics yesterday.
Hyundai leads lap number 1, Toyota in second. It's Acura in third. A little lock up there, heading up the hill for third place. Dean Lambros flying those Skip Barber Racing colors. This section of the track, Arthur looks incredibly strong. Short wheelbase, 4-wheel drive for that Toyota Corolla, and heaping the pressure on the race leader.
This is what he thought he might be able to do on that opening lap, is make a move down into turn 4, but it seems like the Hyundai accelerates good over the top of the crest there in turn 3. I think maybe the gear ratio on the Toyota is better coming off of turn 2 and gives him that acceleration run up to turn 3 where Castro looked a little vulnerable.
Coons is creeping up into this fight here as well. Eric finished just off the podium yesterday. Canadian with a lot of experience north of the border. More smoke coming out of that third-placed Acura. Again, that's a car that had a fire earlier in the weekend. We'll keep tabs on it. Right now, it doesn't seem to be slowing Dean Lambros down at all.
No, that was quite excessive there, so I assume it was smoke and not tire rub there as they come through that heavily loaded corner. We'll keep an eye on that, but he's really putting the pressure on Arthur here. Castro skipped off a little bit, side by side through the S's. This is really tight indeed. Can Coons get a run on this and take advantage of those two battling in front of him?
Lambros had to lift out of it. Looked like it might have left him vulnerable momentarily, but he's still in firm possession of third place coming through the chicane. Coons, though, getting closer, and he's bringing some company with him. Here comes Gravett, and just behind Rosenberg also with a pretty good start.
6-car train here between P2 and the 7th position, held down by Shelby Mills right now. Up front, Andre Castro, what a job he's doing. He's had 3 races so far in this formal competition, 3 times P2. Looking to go one better here today, and putting down a really solid lap there. Over a second clear as the other pack squabbles behind him.
Only 3 drivers now who have cracked into the 150 bracket. Castro did it with authority at a 150.3. Everyone else in the high 50s or low 51s in this top group. Castro did say yesterday in our interview with him post-race how running in traffic, running behind Braden Arthur for the majority of the race, Calvin, really took its toll on his car and on the tires. No such problems here when you start from pole, and now he can start to check out.
Yeah, well, but the key is managing it. Do you know what I mean? Don't use it up. We very rarely see yellows, as Amanda alluded to. John Fergus, who's the race director for TC America, was really buoyant that he got through the opening round of the championship without a yellow flag. There's that smoke again. That is so unusual there as he accelerates off the corner. It's not like off throttle or anything where sometimes you see that with a race car. It's where he's fully loaded. I'm not sure if he's in between gear shifts there or something, but very strange to see that amount of smoke.
Amanda, do you have more information on Dean?
Well, I did see the team take a look at Dean Lambros as he came back here on the front stretch. It wasn't doing that problem at that point. They thought it was tire rub. Now that I've just reported back to them that there is more smoke, I'm assuming that that team's going to take a look at Dean as he comes back here on the front stretch, but we'll keep you guys posted.
Saw it again there. So it's twice we've seen it on this lap.
2 starts last year. He was on the podium in both of them at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway to close out the season. Former runner-up in the Skip Barber Formula Car Series to young Oliver Weldon, star in the making in single-seater racing. Dean from Northport, New York, giving his car a great run. He's in the slipstream now, coming down the start-finish straight. Right there in the tire tracks of Braden Arthur, but not in a position where he could take a lunge.
See him there really working the angles there to try and set up to get over that crest of the hill with a little bit wider radius to get an acceleration run. That's where the Toyota looks really good. I think that's really in a sweet spot with the torque of that engine there. Accelerating between turns 2 and 3, and obviously Braden's done a great job negotiating the turn as well. So Castro up front. Let's see how we can deal with having the lead and maybe a potential win, but still a long, long way to go in this race. Only 7 minutes into this 35-minute sprint.
Pace seems to be improving for just about everyone. New best first sector for Braden Arthur took quite a bit, about 0.8 of a second actually, out of Andre Castro. But look at all that smoke now. This is not getting any better for Dean Lambrose.
It is not. It is not looking good. You know, you hate to say without smoke, fire, but they had that the other day, but we'll have to wait and see. I thought maybe it was where the car was loaded. We saw it again right in this part of the racetrack on the previous lap. Looks clean there, so not sure if it's an overfill situation on the race car, or maybe that's just getting rid of some of the fluid as we get deeper into this race.
It's not slowing him down any. Just did his best first and second sector times on this lap. Take a peek in at 7th place, Shelby Mills, up 3 spots from the start of this race, and he did that early. Really good getaway for Shelby.
Yeah, he's having a really solid run here today. Looked racy yesterday, but I think they've tweaked on the race car to come to life early. Look at that battle for second. Lambrose is right there once again.
He's right there in the tire tracks. This section of the track looks good for that Acura. Braden Arthur, we saw it yesterday. Anytime Castro got close, he was pretty unfazed. Didn't seem like he was easily rattled. I suspect you get that when you're coming from the rough and tumble world of Pirelli GT4 America, where he won a couple of races last year. But back to Shelby Mills, who runs in 7th. Let's get more on his story now from the pits.
He started this race in the 10th position. He's going to absolutely love this move. He said he wanted that Hard Charger award today. Kind of disappointed with yesterday. Of the tracks that we're going to see this season, this is the first venture into Sonoma. The rest of the tracks this season Shelby Mills has seen. He's telling me a little bit more about Fawn Group Motorsports. They race in the TC America of Canada, is what he said to me, where Fawn Group Motorsports won the championship last year. But wanted better execution here today. Said that the elevation at Sonoma is what really got him yesterday.
It comes at you fast. A number of drivers have told me that. Nothing quite prepares you for your first run up the hill at speed. You kind of get to the top and you wonder, is there anything on the other side?
Exactly. It's really tricky. It's hard to get the confidence, and even if you've been on the sim, it doesn't really give you that true sight line that you get from behind the wheel of a race car when you're seeing it for real. So we'll have gained a lot. We'll put it in the old memory bank. You wake up the next day a little bit more confident in the car and the circuit. Look at this battle, though. That is fantastic what we're seeing so far this year. This is that battle for 4th through 6th. Rosenberg's done a really nice job hanging on to his teammate here.
Well, Jeff Ricca was the dominant force in the championship last year, won the vast majority of the races, runaway championship winner. He stepped out of the race seat to look after his fleet of cars that seems poised to continue to grow. So with him moving on from the driver's seat, you got the sense that this was a wide open field, and so far we've seen that really competitive within this top group of 5, 6, or 7.
Yeah, and I love the start of a new year. So much anticipation. We don't really know which direction it's going to go in, whether any of the manufacturers have made a jump in terms of competitiveness. But it's nice to see, like we said earlier, 3 different manufacturers running in the top 3. Then you got that Armada from Jeff Ricca Autosport. Ton of Hyundais in this field. They're having a nice little battle amongst themselves, but there's also one of those Hyundais out front right now. Braden Arthur has continued to lay down the best laps in this race, but he's only pulling in Castro by about 1/10 or so per lap.
Talk about 3 different brands in the top 3. The 3 sector times. Hyundai quickest in sector 2, Acura in sector 3, Toyota in sector 1. That's what you love to see.
Yeah, I think it's pretty even. All of these manufacturers and drivers are pretty evenly matched. Now, Braden Arthur has skipped away a little bit from Lambrose. Maybe he can now just hit his marks. This will really be the true test to see what sort of pace he has. He wants to keep that streak going. The team have won 6 races in a row, dating back to late summer last year when Jonathan Newdoff went on a tear, and he doesn't want to disappoint his team and the team owner here today. He's going to try and chase down Castro, but Castro's looking for that first victory. He's going to try and hang on to it.
That was Gravett making a bit of a lunge. There's Jeff Ricca watching on. New role for him, all buttoned up.
Look at him.
Yeah, cleans up nicely.
Love to see it. Really great to see how he's taken his team to a whole new level. He's always underneath the cars. When I first met him, working on his own race car himself, kind of not a one-man band, but didn't have a lot of help, and he's gradually just built and built and built with this relationship with Hyundai into a superb operation.
And now intrinsically tied with Hyundai, not just running this program here, but he's gone and raced in Korea for the brand. He's raced at the Nürburgring for Hyundai and will do so again throughout the course of the year this year. Was supposed to have already raced there, but NOS 1 was postponed due to weather.
Koons there took a really early line into turn 4. I thought it was going to hurt him on his acceleration run to the carousel, but didn't seem to make a big difference. But I think he's feeling it. I think he feels he's got to be a little defensive, that Gravett and Rosenberg may have something for him.
Checking in on Precision Racing LA's Mike Lamara. Good to have Mike back. He's been in and out of the SRO paddock over the last handful of years. 7th yesterday, finds himself in 8th at the moment, but it's a sharp-looking livery, I'd say, on that Acura Integra Type S. Beautiful blue, nice little wavy stripe down the side. It's a cool car as well. 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine, clocking in at just about 3,000 pounds, but really high performance in so many ways. 6-speed sequential paddle shift transmission, and they shaved off quite a bit of weight from the road car that it's derived from for this race car version. And good to see it in the hands of a couple of different teams here this year.
This is really where you see that elevation change start to build. You sweep through turn 1, which is flat out, and then it starts to get really complicated in terms of the nuance of the track, where the grip is. Since the resurfacing here 2 or 3 years ago, the track has got a ton more grip, doesn't have the tire degradation factor that we had way back when, so the resurfacing has ultimately performed very, very well and given these drivers ample grip to work with.
Dean Lambrose dropped off the top 2 a little bit, still sits in a solid 3rd, but let's keep an eye for him. 3rd car into the shot here. Oh. Well, it's not supposed to do that.
Well, remember yesterday we saw something come out from the left front inner fender, it looked like, when he accelerated off turn 4, so we thought it may have come down to the heat from the fire that they had in the front end of that car earlier in the weekend, but I'm not sure if he ran over something or something from his race car, but...
Could that have been the cause of the smoke? Something
possibly.
Loose, something rubbing?
Loose again, yeah. Tell you what, though, Braden Arthur has certainly closed in on our leader. It's down to about a 2nd right now, and he's running consistently times about 3/10 faster than Andre Castro.
Might have just seen another puff of smoke there, so I'm not sure that's completely solved the problem. But in any event, he continues on still solidly in the 3rd place. This, though, is the fight to watch. Koons is definitely feeling the pressure here. Gravett looking this way and that, and I love the way these cars just twitch and squirm when they get to the braking. It's so illustrative of how hard you have to work to wrangle the speed out of these touring cars.
On the verge of a Scandinavian flick.
Yeah. It was very much rally style. And it's closing in again for 2nd and 3rd. Arthur does have the fastest lap of the race, but Lambrose has been picking the pace up a little bit himself. This is all just over a 2nd behind race leader Andre Castro, or is this further down? I'm sorry.
Yeah, this is Dawkin and Anderson, I believe. We're looking at the battle right now for P9.
Well, it's a carbon copy in terms of the cars and liveries of the battle further up in the field.
It is. Anderson celebrated his birthday just Wednesday of this week. Now 22 years old, so 2 talented youngsters going at it.
Mentioned it yesterday, but look at Anderson with an interesting professional CV. Everything from being a salesman to a chef to a mechanic, and now trying to add the Appalachian race car driver, now based here on the West Coast. He's given a good run to his Skip Barber Racing Acura, trying to close in on the 2023 Colorado Karting Tour champion, Jesse Dorkin.
Yeah, and even though Dorkin's running down in, sort of like 9th, 10th position, I mean, his lap times are really competitive. He's only a 2nd off Braden Arthur's sort of fast lap. So that's really solid running for him. It just shows how competitive this field is this year.
Coons under as much pressure as we've seen now.
Oh,
He'll guard the
super
inside line
yeah.
that time. Gravett will try the long way around, but has
Watch
to be careful.
Rosenberg here. He can maybe set up a run as he comes off the hairpin.
Exactly what I was thinking. Rosenberg, a rookie in this championship, but a two-time Grid Life champion. Adapting to the front-wheel drive touring car, he's been driving a high-horsepower Corvette the last couple of years.
Yeah, I asked him who his hero was in racing, and he said, oh, I don't really have. He said, actually, I do have one. A guy I race against in Grid Life, so the name wasn't Verstappen or anything like that. It was a guy called Luke McGraw who he races against and said he is a real wheelman. So great to see him give a shout-out to someone who's more at the grassroots level than maybe someone who you watch on TV.
Super cool to see. And he's been driving things for a very long time. Family company has a lot of heavy equipment, and evidently he got his love for anything mechanical, driving around some of that heavy equipment on the job site.
Yeah, family's in the scrap business, I believe, so he's an equipment operator for them during his day job, let's put it that way, but during the week. But anyway, he's having a good battle here, certainly loving TC America racing. I tell you what, Coons is really pushing the limits of his race car. I feel he's overdriving the car a little bit and giving these two teammates behind him a chance at wrestling away that fourth position.
These three have been in lockstep, really, from the very beginning of the race.
Battles everywhere.
Yeah, this is great. Mills with his mirrors full of Mike Lamara now. And the lead is shrinking, we should note. We'll get to it in a moment, but Braden Arthur's now within a second again of the race leader Castro, and it did seem like that Toyota got stronger relative to the Hyundai as the race progressed yesterday.
Yeah, relative, yeah. I'm not sure if it got stronger or just maintained pace, whereas I think Castro felt like he lost a little bit, and he was concerned about that going into the weekend. Spoke to him after qualifying. He said, I'm concerned about the 35-minute race. We're up 10 minutes on what we ran in 2025 season, so that is a factor, and we talked about that. Normally starts to come into play with about 10 minutes to go. We've got 16 minutes left on the board right now.
Mills, big mover early in the race, but now might need to get those elbows out, and he gets a little bit wide. Lamara up and over the curb, gets a great jump side by side, but stuck on the outside. Tough place to hang it out. Tried the crossover, but Mills is able to cover it off. Now, Lamara peeking up the inside again as they plunge back down the hill.
Big understeer there by Mills. Overshot the entry at turn 4, loses speed coming off. Lamara's going to pounce.
Mike threw everything he could at Shelby, finally forced the slight miscue that opened up the door, and he is through.
Yeah, Shelby there just thought, I've got to get into this corner, get into this apex, just overcharged it and overloaded those fronts.
Now 4th, 5th, and 6th again. Coons showing the way. Gravett, the middle part of this battle pack, and Rosenberg sits there just behind. Coons able to get that spot right at the very start around Gravett, and ever since, Gravett's been trying to figure out how to get it back. He's been close a couple of times, but Coons hasn't quite slipped up enough to give Gravett the chance to pounce.
Yeah, they're getting ever tighter. You can't really fit much between the rear bumper of Coons and the front bumper of Gravett there as they came through turn 9. That's allowed Rosenberg a run as well. So he's been exploring different lines here, see if he can figure out a better way to get off some of these tighter corners. He tried it down in turn 7, didn't quite get it right. So I think he just thinks it through a little bit. There could be some opportunity for Rosenberg.
Cool to see him adapting so quickly to a much different style of race car. Hard to imagine going from a high horsepower rear wheel drive Corvette and on high performance but DOT tires as well in Grid Life, not on racing slicks like you have here. Front wheel drive platform, much less horsepower. Hard to imagine two cars more diametrically opposed.
I know, he's done a nice job with it. He seems to be enjoying it, and I think as I said before, he's just sitting there watching these two duke out in front of him, just try to figure out a key to the puzzle here.
Baton got hooked up with Jeff Rick at the tail end of the year last year and was invited to do an evaluation test at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, sufficiently impressed the team. This is his debut weekend. Kicked up a little dust there. Not the first to do that here this weekend.
No, he's a little bit wide all the way through. Once you get through the middle of that corner, it just seemed off the radius, and if you hang with it and don't crack the throttle, you're going to run out of room there a little bit at the end. Look how tight this. Great respect between the two teammates, but Rosenberg just needs to be hanging close enough, because there could be opportunity if there's a touch between these two cars in front of him.
Oh, Coons really feeling the heat now.
Woo!
Oh, Gravett weaves back to the outside. Wade on the brakes into the chicane, but he can't quite hang alongside Coons.
Rosenberg did a nice job there of carving the corners. Could see some opportunity. Does he want to stick his nose in the run down into turn 11 here? Gravett has to protect.
Able to do so. Rosenberg looking every which way, but can't find a way past. All of this is happening some 9 seconds behind Andre Castro, who has now extended the advantage. It was down to 0.8 of a second. It's back up to 1.2, and Castro has answered with a really strong lap here just a few moments ago.
Yeah, new fastest lap. His best, obviously, and fastest lap of the race at 49.4, and that was 0.6 quicker than Braden Arthur on that last lap, so it's really blown out that gap at the front a little bit. So again, we talked about 10-minute mark, 10 minutes to go. That's when the tire deg, if there is any, may start to kick in a little bit. But right now, Castro looks strong. Maybe has managed those tires a little bit better than he did yesterday, and has learned a lot looking at the data and talking to his teammate, and probably talking to Jeff Ricker himself in terms of what do I need to do to make my car stronger at the end and not fade.
It is a point of adaptation this year for those that only ran a year ago with that shorter 25-minute race distance. It has been interesting to hear just how much of a difference it makes. 10 minutes you add, well, you know, how important is 10 minutes really? But the consensus seems to be quite a bit, actually, with the way that you have to think about managing your resources, managing your tires over the course of a 10-minute longer race.
Yeah, another 5-6 laps. That is a lot on these front-wheel drive cars predominantly. So here we go. Here's that battle again. Gravett really gets that run, but Coons is just protecting that inside line.
And again, that opens the door for Rosenberg to come on a run. Here he comes, looking to the outside now of his teammate Gravett. Gets to the flank. Can he keep it there? Really rolls nice speed around the outside, but can't quite get back to power enough to stay alongside his teammate and has to settle back in.
He does, and I think Rosenberg is just picking up that throttle, and this is allowing Lamara to really get into this frame as well. You can see the blue Precision LA machine now suddenly becoming a bit of a factor of Jeff Ricker. Takes the pressure off his head for a while, releases those headphones, just make sure he's going to be looking good for maybe the celebration picture at the end of the race.
Looks more flustered in that shot than he did at any point of the year last year when he was racing his way to a championship. It's a different...
Oh, look at this. Coons is pushed wide. Gravett had to eat up the curb there to not get into him. Lamara's got a huge run on Rosenberg.
Yeah, Rosenberg had to check up. He saw that car in front of him up on two wheels, bicycling through the corner, and had to get out of the throttle. Lamara did not. He kept the foot planted and just blitzed right by.
Yeah, showed every ounce of his experience there. Brilliantly done and judged. He could see that one develop, and he was on the charge there. He had the momentum. As soon as he got to that pack, bang, there was an opportunity, and he took it.
Fantastic from Lamara, who's now up to 6th. Gravett is next in line, breaking up this Hyundai party here in the middle part of the pack.
He's got good pace. He's looking good here. I think he can inch his way forward here. Still got nearly 10 minutes of racing left on the board. Rosenberg trying to respond. I thought he was going to have a chance at getting around his teammates, and suddenly he's got that bright blue Acura in between here.
That's part of the learning process, though, learning the new style of racing, the new car, new competitors as well. I think he'll file that away. Don't leave the door open for Mike Lamara.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to exactly tell, but just visually it looks like he's just getting on that power a little bit early, coming through some of those hairpins and washing out the front end. This is a great little battle. I love this between Anderson and Dawkin. As you said, it mimics what we're seeing in the battle for P2 and 3.
Here he comes, trying to get to the outside. Anderson bails rather than trying to hang it out high, wide, and handsome through turn one. Moments ago, we saw the Hyundai up on two wheels. Let's take a look at this again. This was absolutely spectacular. Well, we'll try and take a look at it. For the moment, everyone's able to continue on. It's Coons now again under extreme pressure from Gravett. Gravett again looking left, looking right, weaving back and forth, filling the mirror of Coons, who just won't give an inch.
Yeah, this is crazy stuff, but looks like a fun little battle. Coons just seems to be ahead of the game, being oh, that was tight there. Rosenberg thought he had an opportunity on Lamara, had to eat up the curb there in 7B.
Wow. Just enough space to make that work. Both are able to continue on.
All of these drivers are feeling it right now. They're starting to get their confidence back early in the season. They're starting to find the ultimate threshold of these tires and these cars late in the going. Seems like everyone's wringing the neck of their machine, trying to find that last ounce of performance and trying to hang on to positional gain.
Gravett, the Spec Miata ace from Texas, fighting here with Eric Coons, former touring car champion up in Canada just a couple of years ago. Then the veteran Mike Lamara and the Grid Life champ, youngest ever Grid Life champ, Rosenberg. What a great scrap this is with 7 minutes to go.
Up front, Braden Arthur just laid down new fast lap of the race. 4/10 quicker than Castro. Is there enough time left in this race for him to catch the leader?
At that pace, I think there might be. But is there enough time to get by? And does Castro have anything in the bank? A look at that great throwback livery as well to the early days of Jeff Ricka's career, carrying the Gin Racer colors. Here comes Arthur, great run out of the carousel, puts that power down through both axles on that Toyota Corolla.
Is there something flapping on the front end of Castro's car? Looks like maybe a piece of trim has come a little bit loose. I'm not sure if it's just the light and the camera angle I was looking at, but it seems like there might be something to drift just to the side of the windshield on that lead car. But look at this scrap, continues here for P4. Gravett going to try and do the crossover here. Coons, does he protect it? Yes, he does. Lamara thinking there's opportunity.
Just beautiful defensive driving from Coons, never gives it opening. Now Lamara trying to pick his way past another one of the Hyundais, made the move on Rosenberg a few laps ago, had to back out of it, and this is such a rhythm section, such a momentum section. As soon as he had to back out, Cal, he lost all that ground and now is under attack once again.
Yeah, you see the effect of that immediately. Gives Rosenberg hope. I'm sure he's learned a lot here in just how to drive one of these front-wheel drive machines. Coons there. He's got a bigger gap than he's seen for most of this race. Maybe he can settle in and hit his marks a little bit more, not overdrive the entry to some of these corners, which has put him in a vulnerable position.
Eric had a couple of podiums last year, finished 5th in points. As mentioned, former SCCC TCA class champion up in Canada, won 10 races across 2 years in 23 and 24. And he's got all of this happening in the rearview mirror. Again, Lamara has to back out of it, loses momentum, and here comes Rosenberg once more.
Yeah, every time he pokes his nose in there, he's losing that speed coming off the corners, and then he's suddenly suspect to a position change with Rosenberg right on his tail there. Thought Coons was going to take off a little bit, but Gravett has regrouped here and putting the pressure back on.
Really great preview of what's to come this year. Coons and Gravett, two youngsters with great futures in front of them. Talked to Jeff Ricka, and he will speak in glowing terms about both of their potential.
Love the different lines that you'll see on the entry to the carousel just to set up that long duration corner. Gravett moving around in the rear view mirror, the side view mirrors for Coons. Coons is hanging tough, but he's getting really protective there. That's going to cost him lap time, and it just compresses that battle once again.
Putting all of his experience in close quarters racing, in Spec Miata racing to use. He won the Harris Hill Challenge Series Championship in a Miata back in 2024 as a rookie. That had never been done before. helps to have some great coaching in your corner. And for many years early in his career, he had Nick Janssen alongside. He's coached so many good ones over the years, but now Gravett can't just think about playing offense. Here comes Lamara once again.
He does. I'm going to try and carve this corner with a little bit later apex. See if he can get a better run, get the hands straight, get the power down that little bit sooner. But it's so tough because that upcoming turn one kind of sweeps across. Lamara looks to the inside. Really tight with the concrete wall.
Gravett gave him just enough space, but Lamara wasn't able to stay alongside. Now, though, Gravett looks like he's on the attack once again. The advantage ebbing and flowing between these four cars, fighting here for positions 4, 5, 6, and 7. Castro continues to lead by 1.3 seconds. Lambros not too terribly far behind, and it seems like maybe some of that smoke we saw earlier has gone away. Any reason for consternation? Well, they just have to suffer through it for another 3 minutes.
Yeah, this is great stuff. I feel all of these drivers have really found a new level here today in terms of being on top of the race car, identifying the racetrack's grip. And I just love that sector there where you're really dancing with the pedals, trying to get in sync with the race car on the tire.
Looked like a pretty good run through the carousel. That time for Gravett again. Coons covers off the inside, but Gravett super late on the brakes. This is the closest he's been alongside his teammate now. Still side by side, but Coons gets the better jump out of the corner.
That was awesome. What a piece of racing there. Total respect between the two drivers. Lamara's sitting there hoping that they touch a little bit and open up the door for him. That was just beautiful to watch.
No such luck for Mike, and he wasn't close enough to really intercede in that battle. He is now, though, nose to tail, 4 cars, and not too far behind. Shelby Mills actually starting to run this group down as well.
That's incredible. Rosenberg's had a great seat to watch all of this, but he wants a different seat. Maybe up in that top 5. This is going to be tight. Coons just takes his braking in a little bit deeper. He's feeling the heat from behind, but he's got great feel for where that other car is around him, and he's just placing that car perfectly every single lap. But time is running out. Can Gravett do anything here with just a couple of laps to go, it looks like?
Should be white flag next time by at the pace they're running. Castro's lead, 1.2 seconds. Arthur has responded and reset the fastest lap of the race. Fractionally, we're talking 19 thousandths of a second, but Castro now just did his best first sector of the race here on the penultimate lap.
Yeah, I think he's really managed those tires perfectly here today, looking for his first victory at this level. 3 times a runner-up. Castro could be on the verge of a win.
He's been on the podium every time he started in this championship, looking for that first victory. Let's learn a little bit more about him here with the final minute ticking away, Amanda.
Well, guys, I was standing by Jeff Rica to talk to him about Andre Castro when all the melee started happening over there, and Jeff saw his race car on 2 wheels and quickly put his headset back up. But on to Andre. I got over there to talk about the tires, and he said, the only thing Andre's saying to me is, what's for lunch? And Jeff was telling him he's running the fastest times out there. So we know how bad Andre wants us. You know, he's been runner-up at every race that we've seen him. We'll see him at Coda next weekend, but I'm assuming this interview is going to be off the charts for Andre.
Yeah, really cool. How poised do you have to be thinking about your lunch order when you're leading the race?
I love it. I love it. Hopefully he can keep focused, though, and hit the corners one more time. He's on his last lap of this race as we focus on this battle here for P4.
Oh, it's been captivating. Coons really deserves his plaudits here, Cal. To play defense this long, never crack, never make the mistake that opens the door. He's just got to do it one more lap now.
He does. It's been quite the battle. He's had his mirrors full with this whole event, and he's kept his poise and kept the car in position, but also kudos to Gravett. He's really done a great job of racing hard but not getting into the side of his teammate.
Mara again closing in through the first sector. That Acura looks strong through this part of the racetrack. Coons, Gravett, Lamara, Rosenberg, just like that, still nose to tail, and Mills is reeling them in. He just might be running out of time. Rosenberg
there, still looking for opportunity. Up front, here's the man. Can he come through and get that first win?
Andre Castro has been a talented driver in need of an opportunity for a number of years now. He has scrapped to put together programs, everything from NASCAR Europe to the NASCAR O'Reilly Series. He's done single-seaters in the States. Got hooked up with Jeff Ricca and Ricca Autosport last year, ran the 2 races at VIR, runner-up in both of them, and has amassed the resources to run at least a partial program this season, repaying the faith that the team has placed in him right now from pole position, and just 1/4 away from his first career win in TC America, powered by Skip Barber. The New Yorker around turn 12 for the final time. He'll see the checkered flag wave. Andre Castro and Ricca Autosport win race 2 at Sonoma. Arthur completes the podium in second, along with Dean Lambros in third. Now we wait for this battle. Coons with the most breathing room he's had in about 25 minutes. Able to get through the hairpin cleanly. What a great fight with Gravett. Lamara, a good charge late in this race. And Rosenberg set to come home in 7th place. There's that flash of the headlights for Eric Coons. A hard-fought 4th place. Gravett, Lamara, Rosenberg, Mills, the top 8. Now we wait for Dorkin, Anderson, and Bellevue. And here is Robert, giving that BMW its debut. Had a chat with John Fergus, series manager for TC America, earlier the weekend, and he said Robert is here to enjoy the experience, trying to step into a more modern race car after so many years racing vintage machines and just having fun. Well, what a great track to go and have a joyride in a BMW M2.
Yeah, that M2 looks spectacular, and I think as he gets used to it and the team gets used to it, they'll get a little bit more speed out of it, and we look forward to other entries with that same platform joining the championship a little bit later this year, potentially.
And great as well to have Chris Valdez and DRS back in the series after a year away. They ran the predecessor to this car for many, many years, had success, ran at the front with a few different drivers, including Chris himself. Fun little operation based out on the West Coast, and Bellevue sees the checkered flag in his 2nd series start. And for yet another race, Cal, green to checkered without interruption. I think there has been 1 full course yellow all of last year and through the first 2 races of this year, and it actually was for an incident that happened on a formation lap.
Indy, right? Final weekend of the year, yeah. So great job by the whole group of drivers, great orchestration with SRO through John Fergus, the race director there, to teach these young hot shoes how to go racing respectfully, and they're doing a great job of that.
It is a destination for some, a learning platform for others, an interesting melting pot of experience level as well as machinery. Race results from the 2nd race. Castro over Arthur by just a second. Those two super close together across the weekend. Lambros fought hard to get a 6th yesterday. I'm sure he'll take a podium given the way this weekend began with the fire that cost them the qualifying session. Then it's Coons and Gravett, Lamara and Rosenberg. Mills got within a second of that battle at the checkered flag. Dorkin did hang on. Great duel with Logan Anderson over the course of 35 minutes, and Robert Bellevue completes the field down in 11th.
Yeah, as we suspected, the start was so critical. That opening lap, Castro from the pole on the behalf of the fast lap that he laid down yesterday, and he took advantage of that. I'm sure he thought about it overnight. He realized he had a good car based on that fast lap. He just needed to get the track position and then manage the tires, which he did beautifully.
That's the celebration. You can hear the emotion, the excitement for Andre Castro. I would be curious to know when his last win in anything would have come. He's often been in, let's say, inferior equipment because of necessity over the course of his career in various racing series. And so to get to hop in something that's a front-running car, and you come into the weekend and you know if you execute, you're going to get your job done. There's a lot of motivation in that, I have to believe.
There is, and knowing that he's not committed for the full season, he's going to be going to Coda on the back of, 2 really solid results. They should be tied in the championship going there. So hopefully if he has a strong weekend, that will get him the support from some of his partners to maybe continue this championship run.
Right now, it's the team boss's business, GenRacer.com on the side of that car, but this is an impressive young talent. His first win, and we'll hear from him now.
Hey,
And a big hug from the boss, Jeff Ricca, stepping in to congratulate Andre Castro, who we'll also see at the Circuit of the Americas. But I was talking to you here yesterday in this spot in the runner-up position, and you were a bit disappointed. But actually, this moment started in yesterday's race when you picked up the fastest lap in that #1 position, and today was all Andre Castro. How satisfying is this moment?
Oh, it's incredible. Yeah, thank you to the team, Ricca Autosport. What a car, the Gen Racer car. I think the last time I won a race, I was a teenager. I'm 27 now, so it's just been a long time. A lot of podiums, a lot of laps led, and a lot of just like heartbreak. And my friends and family all know that. Like we've been through a lot, and just feels really good to be back in victory lane with some people I care about. You know, my parents are here, friends watching from home. Saludos a la familia en Colombia también. Yeah, it's really cool, and hopefully we can take this momentum to Coda.
How did you maintain that belief in yourself?
I don't know. I think I just got good people around me like that. You know, they really help me when times get tough, and I'm, you know, sometimes I lose confidence in myself and have to kind of rely on them, and just kind of remind me of the good times and you know what it could be like. So I didn't know in December, early December, I didn't know if I was gonna do anything this year. So just incredible. You know, thank you to Skip Barber for sponsoring the series, TC America, SRO, everybody. So yeah.
Congratulations to Andre Castro, the 27-year-old winner here in race #2 at Sonoma Raceway. And Braden Arthur, what a show up into TC America. You'll finish the weekend with a first place finish and this runner-up here today. What did you learn that'll help you in Coda?
I think we struggled a little bit more in these cooler conditions. He seemed to pick it up quite a bit. Looked like he was able to be a little more consistent than I was. I was making a little bit of mistakes here and there. So going into Coda, I think, it's going to be so close. I don't think there's really any telling. We'll just have to see.
Well, we'll get to see that battle again at the Circuit Americas with both guys returning for that weekend. And Dean Lambros, ahead of the weekend, we talked right before the race and you told me the goal was to salvage the weekend with the podium to round it out. Is this the representation of that?
Absolutely. I can't thank my crew enough. These guys balled in the court, always scored, and scoring points coming here, salvage a weekend car. No practice. I'd like to just say first 2 races were the only time on track I had. So, I can't thank the crew enough. There's just got a good group of fellas this year. I'm excited to work with them all season long.
Well done on staying committed, Dean. We'll see you guys at the Circuit of the Americas, Ryan.
Really remarkable comeback story there for Dean. No practice, no qualifying, straight into the race. Did a great job to get a podium here in race #2. Second race of the season for TC America, powered by Skip Barber, and it started with the Gen Racer sponsor, Ricca Autosport Hyundai on pole. Andre Castro, a runner-up 3 times before, trying to snag his first win, and he got the jump on the start, able to fend off the challenge in the early going from yesterday's winner, Braden Arthur. Big moves, though, further back in the pack, and Dean Lambros got to start 3rd today. Car dropped off some extra equipment. Turns out he didn't need it. He was able to continue on. That was a wild moment with the Hyundai up on 2 wheels. Everyone able to continue on. Coons and Gravett battling for 4th and 5th as they did for the majority of the race. But it was their teammate, Andre Castro, that controlled the pace from the start, from the front of the grid. His first career win, his first win since he was a teenager. 27 years old now. Congratulations to Andre Castro, winner of race #2.
Congratulations, man. Appreciate it. That was a great race. Yeah, thanks, man. You got 4th, right? Yeah, good job.
So through 2 races, a peek at how the points stack up, and it is a dead heat at the top with Castro and Arthur sharing a win and a 2nd place. They're tied on 43 points. Justin Gravett, with a couple of strong runs, sits in 2nd place. Then Coons, Lambros, and Rosenberg, the top 5, leaving Sonoma. With that, we say farewell from verdant Northern California. Up next, a trip to Austin, Texas, and Circuit of the Americas.